Hi guys, I had to make this a separate video simply because it was going to be too long as one video and I thought people were probably going to get quite bored, so I thought if I separate it, it might be a little bit easier. Okay, so it's still Monday the 14th of March and it's now 10 to 8 in the evening and I am back from my appointment. I was back at like 3 o'clock or something like that, and in the meantime, cooking dinner, I managed to burn my finger and it's blistered up, so that's why I've got like a cold ice pack on it. So it was really annoying because it's burning as soon as I take it off. But anyway, that's because I was being clumsy. I'm a bit like that when I'm manic, so yeah. Anyway, so I want to make this not too long, but I've got some notes here in front of me so that I remembered everything, and I wanted to film it the same day so that I didn't forget anything and it was fresh in my mind. So from the last video, I was going on my way to see the psychiatrist. What I filmed beforehand anyway. Give you a little update. Basically, when I got there, obviously he asked me how I was. I said I was okay, and I started to tell him things that had been happening, and it actually turned out to be a really good, I wanted to say session, but it turned out to be a really good appointment, and I came away feeling pretty good, which I was quite surprised about. The first thing I wanted to mention was that he weighed me and did my BMI, because I told him that I'd put on weight with the meds, and it was interesting because I hadn't been weighed since I went to the doctors, which was like months ago, and I was interested to see where I was, and on the chart thingy that he had up on the wall, basically it works out your weight for your height and things like that, and I was just over the healthy section, just over into the overweight section, which meant that I don't want to put on any more weight. I need to lose what I've already put on and then go back into the healthy section. And interestingly enough, because I was talking to him about what I eat in the day, and I don't really binge on stuff. I have larger size meals, which probably has done it as well. And before I gave myself like a strict routine of what I ate, I was binging on things like chocolate biscuits, crisps, and just things like that, easy picking food. But he basically said to me that, because my mum said to him, what happens when Jess feels like she's still starving after she's eaten a meal? And he said that protein, if you get enough protein, I didn't know this, but protein actually signals the brain to say that you're full. So he was telling me like in the morning, like to eat eggs and things like that, and he was telling me to like eat oranges and fruit and things like that, and things that are protein, and getting that in my diet, and then that should tell my brain that I'm full. So I'm kind of going to experiment with that and see how that works out. And we spoke about exercise. I had been doing 30 minutes walking on the treadmill, which turned out to be like over, I think it was like 1.5 miles I did in about 30 minutes. And he wanted me to continue doing that and to gradually up it to 45 minutes on the treadmill, about 2 to 3 times a week, which I've been doing anyway, but just 30 minutes, and to carry on doing like my core exercises and things like that for my thighs, my bum, and my abs. So yes, he also said that, I mean, we're lucky we got a few things to try first, but he did say that there is another antipsychotic meds that I could change onto if I wanted to, but it would be, I think, a long way off. But he did actually do a printout for me, and it's this. I don't know if that's backwards or not. I think that might be backwards. It's called aripiprazole, also known as Abilify, I guess. I don't know how you say these things. But yeah, it's basically, it's an antipsychotic drug, but it doesn't make you feel hungry, it doesn't put on weight. I think he said it even makes people lose weight sometimes. And it's got less side effects. But as he suggested that if I am going to go on to anything else, that they don't tend to mix antipsychotic meds, which means I would have to come off quetiapine before I started that, which then kind of was a worrying thought, because then I could probably be quite unstable with my mental health, because I'm assuming that if I started coming off the quetiapine, that I would then perhaps start hearing voices and seeing things again. So that's quite a scary thought when I haven't been having that. So I mean, that I feel like is the last resort. But he thinks that I'm going to do well, he thinks that I'll be okay and that I will be able to control this. So yeah, I think with anything it's all trial and error, and I know people that are on meds for ages and then eventually they change, and it's just one of those things. You have to do what's right at the time. I'm just lucky that I've got a few things to try. So also, I'm just looking at my notes here on the phone. I'm not being rude, just put my head down. He gave me some sleeping tablets, which I was like almost jumping for joy for, because last time he was really hesitant, but this time he seemed to be like, yeah, sure, why not. But I explained to him, when I'm manic, I find it really hard to sleep, and without sleep I don't do very well. So he has given me, what are they called? Zopiclone, I don't know how you say it. I don't know if it's backwards. This might be backwards. I don't know. And that's used for insomnia. So he said I can take one tablet, and if that doesn't work, I can take two. Why am I not in focus? He did say to me that, have you ever tried diazepam for helping you go to sleep? And I have, but it makes me feel very doped in the morning, and I find it really difficult to get up on my meds as it is. So having diazepam knocks me out even more. So he's given me these sleeping tablets to take when I need them, because he said, like, as with diazepam you can get reliant on them, which I don't want to do, and I'm actually really careful with things like that, almost a bit paranoid. So I can take them when I need. If I'm led there wide awake, I can take one and know I can go to sleep, which is great. So he printed off information about the other drug and about the sleeping tablets, so I've got that to read, which puts my mind at rest. And yeah, he basically scheduled to see me in 4 weeks' time, and we spoke a little bit about the end of my care plan, because they only work with people for 3 years and then you go on to what's called a recovery team. I think I'm probably like 2 years in or something like that, or 2 years and a half or something like that. But he was just telling me, you know, the next steps after that. And we had some questions and he answered them. I think that's everything. I think I've covered everything quite quickly. I didn't want it to be a really long video because I just know people probably won't watch it. I quickly forgot to mention that I also had my bloods taken while I was there at the hospital. I hate blood tests. They're my biggest fear. I don't know why. I just don't like veins. I just don't like stuff coming out of veins, and it freaks me out. And he basically wanted to check that. He just wanted to check my thyroid levels, basically. And I was really pissed off because every time I have my blood taken, they come back clear, and I just feel like it puts me through stress that I don't need. But I had my bloods done, I braved it, and I went ahead and done straight away after my appointment. They used a butterfly needle, which was so much easier than the normal one. And yeah, so I'm basically waiting to hear back results from that. He should be ringing about the end of the week to let me know what the results are for that. So I hope that was easy enough for you to listen to. I will find out when I edit it. If you're not bored of me yet, then stay tuned, and I will see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for the support and the comments, and yeah, toodle pip!